It's that time again, that time where I try to draw something maybe, but more and more my attention is being thrown all over the place. While I answer things asked by you guys and stuff, I don't know, I probably mixed questions again, because I always do. I wish it didn't happen, but here we are. Let's just go and start. Fire starts the roll today, this week, tonight, this morning, by going with a question of several. The first of being, name 5 books on your bookshelf. Alright. Dragon Ball Z, actually Dragon Ball, not Z, just Dragon Ball Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2. What is your opinion on sexism on the internet? It's the same opinion that I have on any kind of sexism, in the sense that I wish this wasn't there. Like, I'm not sure what kind of either answer or discussion you want there, to be perfectly honest. If the internet has shown anyone, like, with the popular, like the mainstreamification of the internet, now that the internet is being used by everyone, and not just nerds, just, you got bigots and hateful people and sexists of all kinds and genre just going around expouting their opinions, and that's the reality of the internet now. Like, yet another reason to avoid social media, I suppose. It's deplorable, and I wish it stopped, but I mean, we're talking about a genuine social issue that has extremely deep cultural and historical roots, that is fortunately getting better and better with each passing generation, even though there's still a lot of work to be done. That's about all there is to it, really. I just, it won't go away immediately, but as long as we try to become better people, gradually, hopefully, maybe, with some luck, everything will get better. Everyone will start to be more respectful. We can always wish. How many fedoras do you own? 0. Do you believe in magic? I mean, real magic? Not really. I mean, I'm looking forward to the day where I'm proven wrong, but that hasn't happened yet, unfortunately. What country would God Emperor Cao conquer first after Canada? Probably the United States. I mean, they're right next door, and if you conquer the United States, I mean, let's be frank here with the resources there. It's a big step, and, going out and outside of the Americas and start to conquer the rest of the world. You gotta be expedient, you gotta be logical about these things. Rena Turnip is all... No, not yet, because Willhart has a question first. Your favorite videos from time to time. I think it is kind of the same thing as liking them. I suppose so, huh? That's in response to a statement that I made last week about how I don't really take the time to like much of anything. I suppose that's true, and sometimes also I just realize now on Tumblr I'll fave and reblog stuff if it's weird and funny enough. So, alright, I guess you proved me wrong there, Will Hart. Will your deeds forever embrace existence? It's a useful thing to do, probably. What even am I saying? Rena Turnip, finally! Hey, Cow. I hope Quebec got slightly less heat than Ontario this week, because it sucks. So hey, with respect to how tedious top 5 questions can be, do you have a top 1-3 dogs or canines? They can be real or fictional, doesn't matter. Also, okay, well, I'm gonna start with that. I don't know, Odie's probably up there. He's a funny dog. He has a giant tongue. And for some reason, if I think fictional dog, it's the first thing that props up. So that probably has something. Marmaduke. But not the boring version you see, but like the edits that you see on Something Awful of Marmaduke as perhaps a dog, perhaps an old god. Now that is where true love can be found. And that's my top fictional dogs. Also, there's the dog from Cop Dog that is not really Ghost Dog, Cop, Dog Cop. Every dog movie in the universe is the same, and they all inhabit the same body and the same soul. It just keeps changing its shape and its voice. It's super weird. Also, did you know that you pronounce my name differently every time you read it? This is fine and I find funny since most people I talk to pronounce it differently than each other, but you're the only person who changes it up each time. How do you think it's actually pronounces? I'll draw you a poor assy cookie if you get it right. I assume it's Rena Turnip, although I'm not sure about your native language because it could be Rena Turnip, but I'd assume Rena Turnip, but I don't know. Obviously, it's Renat Yornip, but that just doesn't flow off the tongue all that well. Telemanzal, since you've had so much success with top 5 lists in these videos, I'm not making that up. Since you've had so much success with top 5 lists in these videos, how about make it to the next level? What is your one weird trick that makes Professions members hate you? Do I have... Whoa, what's going on there? Do I have one weird trick? I don't know, I got many weird quick tricks, man, but I don't know if I should share. No, once again, I'm taking a question here that's meant as a joke way too seriously, as I'm trying to think. If there is, like, any funky little shortcut, like any life hacks, for lack of a better disgusting word, to make life, a little bit easier, a little bit more healthy. But nothing comes to mind because those are always the hardest thing to think about when it's just kind of plops over. Actually, I do want to... Okay, just give me a second here. So here's a little meaningless little thing. You know muffins? Like when you bite into them, it becomes all crumbly and weird. I like to eat them upside down. Like basically I hold them by the cap and I eat the stem. And so one, you end up with the cap last, so you end up with the best part last. You don't get crumbs everywhere because then you're pretty much holding a bowl. Like, and then you can sort of like carve it out and pour something in it if you want it. It's super good. Just be careful. But it's super good, and I've explained this in probably the least clear possible way. Thank you very much. Pizza Pony is all for favorites object. I mean, that's something that you absolutely couldn't live without. My computer, but in a way that you cherish it, very glad that you own it. Like your truck, and before your answer is your truck. My computer, probably. Questions I already forgot. Have to remember that they were 1. This one may be a little hard to answer. Wow, I have trouble answering questions that are easy to answer, so that's going to be fun. But imagine that you were an anonymous internet user happens to stumble upon one of Raukow's LP videos, one that doesn't contain Angry Carl and is from the past few years. What are reactions, and would you continue watch this weird Canadian man's rambling? Probably. I've always said that I try to make the kind of video that I would be interested in. What I am interested in is mostly into watching someone play relatively old and difficult games that does show a form of struggle but is not aware to edit around it. That's mostly what I'm looking for, and I think that would be good. Like, that's why I like people like Isa and stuff. That's what we're doing, and I find that super interesting. Honestly, I don't know if I'd be able to tolerate particularly my humor for a long period of time, but in what I'm doing itself, yeah, I would be very glad to watch. And I think I would go through the cycle of some people that just kind of like endure me for a while until it just kind of like what I say grows onto these people like some kind of brain parasites that, makes it so that you like cats, so that when you die, the cat eats you, so that the parasite goes into their body so that the reproduction cycle can continue. This is what I assume my words would affect on me, word on in the right angle and choice in the sentence. I can't remember, but you've played and beaten Mega Man 1 through 6, Mega Man X1 through 3, correct? What other Mega Man games have you played, and brief thoughts on them? Actually, I've played Mega Man, all the Mega Man 1 through 10, and all the Mega Man X's except X7. I haven't played, the most on Mega Man 1. That's super bad and gross and stupid. I haven't played any of the RPGs, and I've played the Game Boy games also, Mega Man 1 through 6 on a Game Boy, but none of the Mega Man X on the Game Boys, and I haven't played any of the Mega Man Dot executable ones. I haven't touched any of those. I think they're fine. Mega Man 3 is my favorite Mega Man period. Mega Man 4 is right next to it. 2 is number 3 for me. In the Mega Man X series, 2 is the best. I would say 8 is way up there and is super undervalued. But you can feel that they were getting tired in both series at the 5 point. But to be fair, 5 is kind of deep in any kind of series. Like, let's be real here. 3. If you were to create your own rude machine, what would it do? It would drill holes into wood in places where holes are not required. 4. Let's make... Okay, I'll feel like a fool. Sing the following. Then it just says ass and titties like 4 times. And then there's a parenthesis that says that line is repeated 16 times throughout the song. Look forward to a special question next week. I'm not singing that. Like, I'm willing to do a lot of things, like rob a bank and, read throughout the entirety of War and Pieces. But I've got my limit, yo! And I'm looking forward to a special question next week. Meatball Rider is a wizard. Dear Raocal, I am wizard. How may I help you today? 1. Have you ever... I don't know, you can help me many ways, but I do not know the extent of your powers, Mr. Wizard. 1. Have you ever stolen or kickin' rad joke and claim it as your own? Yes! I remember this because this haunts me for some reason. Way back in the day. Like, this is before LPs. I was driving along with the friends to Montreal, and at some point, I just recited a line from a Weird Al song that made everyone laugh. No one knew it was from a song, and Ivor brought it up, and that is the end of the anecdote. I don't even remember what the line was. Hilarious! I'm aware. 2. Imagine this. You're in your cozy house, maybe with a chilled beverage, and listening to some new beats. Maybe you're going to read that book you always meant to read, or watch that hot new film. Wow, you are describing my life so well. It doesn't matter in the end, for a powerful wizard appears in the room and says you have to come with him, and there's no time to explain. What do? Hide in the closet. 3. Why is there never any time to explain anyway? Oh, it's just... Gotta get things done, man. We are living in the modern age. We're living in the 21st century. Act now, facts later. That's what it's all about. 4. What adventuring guild would you join if you were, like, transported via mysterious artifices to a world of fantasy violence? What the hell? I would join the Sleep in Pillows Guild. It's really important. 5. How much would you pay for immunity to stubbing your toes? More than I probably should, but not a huge fortune. Give me an offer, and we'll see. I might negotiate. 6. How does it feel knowing that people out there enjoy watching you suffer in video games? Does it manage your flow of positive energy? Heck no, because I myself love watching people suffer in video games. And sometimes I feel like I need to actually reassure people and to, yo, peeps, this is fine. It's okay to laugh. I would laugh. Please laugh. Do not. Technically, empathy is good, but so is Schadenfreude. Just don't overthink it and laugh. And if anything, I wish people enjoyed it more. What is your favorite insult you like to use? I mean, everyone knows the popular "go eat a ham." I still love that. Does it count as an insult? I mean, it's more like a declarative action, isn't it? It's not really an insult, but for the purposes of answering a goofy question on the internet, it will count. Fusion Warrior, quick questions. Have you read Brawl the Family? Random pages, but not the whole thing. Do you like Dragon Ball Z Abridged? Actually, I'm part of the select few for whom the voice work of the Dragon Ball Z Abridged replaced in my head the canon voice of the characters. Like okay, I am going to imagine the voice of Krillin right now. It's the DBZA that's going to ring up. It's not going to be the one from the show. It completely took over, and honestly, I don't want it any other way now. If Pumpernickel was a Pokemon, it'd be a Darkrai. That's not a question, but I appreciate the thought. Numberless username 1 has a number in his username. That's a joke. What is your favorite and least favorite portions of TV tropes? For instance, I love the character trope page, but dislike the forums. Probably because I'm not a forum guy. No offense to the Talk House. My favorite thing about TV tropes is the ability to, like, my favorite thing and my least favorite thing are related, because I like how they're able to discern patterns and, for lack of better word, label them in an interesting way and find connections within genres sometimes that you wouldn't necessarily think about. But that's kind of a weakness too, because TV tropes, for some reason, although they love labeling, they absolutely abhor actually having any more, they don't want to discuss it further. It's like, okay, we're seeing these patterns in these types of shows. That's pretty cool. Let's kick shell. But then no one has any deeper conversation about that or its meaning. And if anyone tries, it's like it's being shunned. That's super weird. Like, come on, man. Y'all got something kind of interesting going. Then you basically just do nothing with it. Like, you're not doing pure science where research is going to be used by other researchers here. Don't think that that's what you're doing. But it's like, that's totally the vibe you get. Like, this is basically the reason why I have never been able to get deep in with TV tropes. For me, it is an assuming little thing that I maybe go look at for like a couple of minutes every 2 months. That's too bad. That's just dang gosh too bad. It's not that bad, but it's out there. It's bad enough. But not enough to rescue the president, unfortunately. Where am I? Oh, hi. Numberless username. There we go. I have all the offense in the world that you don't like forums. Crispy is next. Oh, my music request didn't work in Canada. That's a shame. I encourage you to look up The Contortionist on your own time. Specifically that song. It's super calming and very nice. Anyway, questions. Have you ever refused a commission request? Yes. And are there things you won't draw due to moral objections? I wouldn't draw anything that's related to hate. Like hate equivalent, like the art equivalent of hate speech. And I am uncomfortable into going into anywhere close to politics. Regarding refused commission requests, I mean, other than people really shifty about whether we're serious, going to be paying stuff or not, to give you an example, many years ago, I had a person that wanted me to draw. Well, I mean, let's be blunt about it. Some kind of like weird, um, what's is it Alice in Wonderland? I think so. Anyway, a porn version of that for his girlfriend, starring his girlfriend. Not only is the way I draw really not conducive to porn in the slightest, as far as I'm concerned, that is also an amazing amount of work, as in, like, an amazing amount of hours, and that's just not something realistic for me to consider. Like, right now, at this point, I can't really even consider working on a full, like, print-sized color digital image, because I don't have the serial. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong with my time, that I'm so bad that I'm running out of it all the time to do the smallest thing, but here we are, and I don't know why. It's super weird, but moral objection, like, it's not really moral. I'm not comfortable drawing anything erotic because I don't think my style, the way I draw, can support it. And otherwise, I just, is it moral because I want to remain apolitical about most things? I guess so. But I mean, yeah, but the fact, like, I won't do hate art, yeah, that's moral, and yeah, I'll stand by it. Because the way I draw is somewhat really recognizable. And I would feel bad if someone would feel bad because of something I did. That's I don't want to make people feel bad. That's super rude. No, stop it. That's a bathtub. It's not a cat. Beat kamikaze is all. It was the word to make a new Kirby game, a la Kirby's Dream Land 3, with new animal buddies. What sort of animals would you like to see added? Personally, I like to see some sort of lizard. That would be cute as heck. Also, Gooey would be the final boss, because we all know he's up to no good. Maybe some kind of snail. Like, that would be the protection animal. Like, they all kind of, like, have a theme, like a theme to them. The snail would be able to go on all the surfaces, but, like, walk around it, except, he'd be slower, but all his transformation power-up stuff would be more or less, like, either protection or artillery based. Like, it's kind of like, it's a cute little tank. I think that would be super cool, which is kind of funny because in games I like to play quick characters, but I think it'd be cool and cute. It's the deadliest little cutie. It would be amazing. Please make it happen, Nintendo, because I'm sure you're listening to this in some fashion. Also, Gooey is not to be trusted. The lovely penguin is all. I'm going to invoke my no, actually, you wrote it. Pat powers to have you play your favorite Toho song. Do I have a favorite Toho song? Since a lot of other people have been requesting music, feel free to cut the song short, skip entirely if you need to. Actually, I do have one. Let go for a second. 3, 2, 1, here we go. It's a bit of a slow starter. Like, I never really cared much for Yu Ko, but man, is her theme conducive to some amazing arrangement. So hopefully this doesn't overpower my voice, although in this instance I don't think I would really mind it. Alright, you had another thing too. Okay, yeah, now for my question. What would you say is the single worst experience in your life? You'd better not answer that. What is single best experience? Let's go with the worst. I mean, it's not traumatic. Well, I mean, okay. Technically, my single worst experience in my life is the trauma that caused me to be quote-unquote triggered by facial deformities. For people who don't know, I was witness to an accident when I was really young. A bicycle accident that was very bloody, that made it so that I did not want to leave my room for about a week. And if I see any kind of facial blemish, I cannot, I shut down. So, yeah, hi. But, so technically that would be the worst, but let's forget that. The single worst thing that happened to me personally is another bicycle accident. Now you think about it, I was riding a bike. I wasn't used to having brakes on the handlebar. I'm miming handlebars right now because you can obviously see that. And basically, that was back when I lived in Shearwater, Nova Scotia. It's a very hilly place. I was going down a steep hill, wasn't being super careful, and the hills there are held up by what amounts to piles of rocks wrapped around in chicken wire. I think you can imagine what happened. I didn't brake well, I flipped over my bike, and I crashed headfirst into one of those. Luckily, I was lucky within my bad luck, because all it cost me was that I chipped a tooth and I lost another. But the pain is something that still, gives me shivers. But it's physical pain. Like, I'm lucky in a sense that I've never had mental bad luck, so to speak. Well, except for the one thing, but we don't talk about that now, do we? Kaika couldn't find ATXS on any planet, but Kaika found help. Yeah, you gotta look for artificial time. ATXS, you won't find it. If you look for artificial time on indieplanet.com, you will find it. Penguinsons, oh hey, Robin is my main in Smash 4. Pretty cool, Cowman, Rao Dude, Person Guy. After that for me is Ike, Mega Man, and Lemmy. Question, how do you feel about astronomy, more specifically than what you said here? Here! I finally reached puberty. Have you ever been curious or studied outer space? What is your favorite concept phenomenon? Also name your top... okay, there's... wait, what? Also name your top 5 favorite exclamation point your toe was bitten by a chipmunk? That's not a real question! And then he gives musical requests. And then I guess I'll put that after this part, I guess. I don't know. Wait, okay, the most insane, the most freaky phenomenon I find in space is the giant space void. Let me see if I can find anything on it. Giant space void. That's not a... super void! Yeah, the giant void. It's... okay, let's read this. The giant void, also known as the giant void in NGS, Canis Venatici super void in ARLP36, is an extremely huge region of space of underdensity of galaxies within a constellation Canis Venatici. It is the largest confirmed void to date, with an estimated diameter of 1 to 1.3 billion light-years, and is approximately 1.5 billion light-years away. It was discovered in 1988 and was the largest void in the northern galactic hemisphere, and possibly the largest ever detected. Even the hypothesized Eridanus supervoid, corresponding to the location of the WMAP cold spot, is dwarfed by this void, although the giant void does not correspond any significant cooling to the cosmic microwave background. Although a vast void, inside it are 17 galaxy clusters concentrated in a spherical-shaped region 50 MPC in diameter. Studies of the motion of the clusters show that they have no interaction to each other, meaning the density of the cluster is very low, resulting in weak graphical interaction. The void's location in the sky is close to the void. The void's void is 5 times near, but only has 1.5 side of giant void. In other words, it's a giant hole of nothing. And that, to me, is fascinating and super creepy. But it's super neat. But it's super creepy. Oh, man. Yeah. So there you go. It's super void. It's creepy. Look at that. Timing is perfect. You can now Listen to Who Stole the Kishka. Ha! Frankie Yankovic. Wow. That is some old stuff. Filthy Pot is all... I was honestly embarrassed about my Arthurian question and deleted it, and I guess I got the question before I deleted. Sorry. Just saved it to your WordPad before I took it down. I'm trying to avoid asking that person I like their opinion about something else I like. I have no reason to think they have any experience with questions, because it dawned on me how self-indulgent and pointless that is. Like, I don't need for that account to like Le Morte d'Arthur for me to enjoy it. So why am I even asking? Colin P. So I regret that I posted that. Apologies accepted, but you didn't need to apologize. You can just ask anything. I mean, it's okay to take a chance. Maybe I would just so happen to be the stealth huge Arthurian nerd face and have some kind of anecdote to say. Like, it wasn't the case, but could have been, and you wouldn't know without asking. Don't be afraid, man. Don't feel bad. Don't. Sometimes, I might answer things in a mocking way, or in a strange, exasperated, but that doesn't matter. There is nothing wrong or hurtful about just asking a question, yo. No one tried to prove me wrong, okay? Horikawa Tani is all, what are your top 5 butts? But Horikawa, that is a trap question, because I know that whatever answer is gonna upset you. So I will skip you and go over to Coryman, who asked a question, but said in the talk house that he cannot pay for the Patreon thing. But I'm gonna answer his question anyway, even though he might not listen to this. Coryman's all, here's a somewhat serious question. Have you heard of the IB International Baccalaureate program? If so, do you have any opinion on it? If not, that's okay. In case you don't know it, second question, did you ever have any stuffed animal as a kid? I have no idea what is the International Baccalaureate program, so that takes care of that. And surprise, as a kid, I did indeed have stuffed animals. Who would have thought? Maiku Wataharu is all, as an adult, I have noticing that people are giving me flack about my accent and question where I'm from, even though I live in this town almost my entire life. Have you ever had people in your hometown question where you're from because of your accent? Not really. My French is very local. Even though I spent most of my youth, not in my hometown, but all over the place, somehow, I still have a very regional French. It's not as countryside as it could be. It's a bit closer to a sort of like international Quebecois, if you will. But, no, that is something that never happened. When I lived abroad, the provinces as a kid, I was a kid, and, I was going to basically these schools that existed, because I always lived in a base, military base. So there was always these schools that were French in English provinces where we're all there. So that just never was a thing. I find it fascinating that that's apparently a thing for you, and I kind of want to know more about that. Like how English, your English is pretty neat, and I would you have an accent, but I wouldn't be able to pinpoint where it's from or what it is, or if there's anything like quote unquote wrong with it. But that, if it has ever been an issue with me, I never noticed. But people just recognize me as, oh hey, okay, you're a Quebecois. Let's us engage in French Canadian. Yo. Usually they don't say the yo. And people are more likely to notice that to a non-native English, my English does not have an accent, which is crazy because y'all know I have an accent, but for like an immigrant or someone who doesn't spend a lot of time around English. Mine doesn't, so I mostly get complimented on that, and I never got poop on about that, about accents. A weird thing to be. I don't know where I'm going with that. Like, it's not a weird thing, but I just think it's a fascinating thing. Accents are cool. White Yoshi Exile, can you name an abbreviation from the Raocow universe that contains a vowel other than A? Nope. Because I find... I like things that are preposterously vague and preposterously precise funny. And in both cases, the article A is extremely useful. I mean, vowel A is really useful. Like, you can write apple, anaconda, banana, and aardvark using the letter A. Like, where else will you find peace of mind other than that way? That Ivy guys all, please make please make the what the hell X. Thanks in advance. Alright, so people who don't read the Talkhouse all that much, although coming from all you guys I would have my doubts, but just in case, during in the Megalex 2 thread recently, I let out that I've considered making a third game in my hard-hitting What the Hell series, but for the Smebex engine instead. I didn't. It's basically I've been fabbling on that for like a year by now. I just can't really get myself to get started because making a game is long, it takes a lot of work, and I feel kind of daunted about it. Especially now, like that pretty soon, although I don't have a date or anything, A2XT2 is going to enter actual production. And I feel that right now, my level ideas are more suited for that than a standalone game. I basically got two full-fledged ideas that would require a certain amount of resource to do, but that I want to do, that I would like to put there, and also maybe explore my random idea. My random idea, like basically a level made through a random table, sort of like what I did with my Megalex 2 level, except maybe with more precision and less fiddling around with. I kind of want to try and make a level that works with that, and I'm thinking of maybe making that as a third level for A2XT2, because I want to have more than just one level for it. And I'm more like, if after building those, and I go ahead with those, and I build them, and I'm happy with them, I still want to make next levels, I will, considering the amount of support that I had, which surprised me, I might as well go ahead with the What the Hell X. It's just, don't expect it soon, but I guess the more support I get for it, the more likely it is to happen. I guess goes without saying, like, way to say the most obvious things in the universe, Raocow. Congratulations. Fieldy Pottins, all, have you heard about the game Cuphead that's coming out next year, and would you consider LPing it? I think its aesthetic looks amazing. I have seen the trailer for Cuphead, but I'm going to show it to y'all anyways in case you haven't. I won't say anything about it ahead of time because that thing looks amazing like all get out. Let's see here. Oh no, not appropriate. I don't know for what media it's supposed to be, like for what. Oh no, he lost! Yeah, that's right. My screen isn't the right size, but that's okay. See, look at that. That guy's like straight out of a Felix the Cat cartoon. But like, wait until, so that's the cutscene, but that's the gameplay. And that is amazing looking. Like, oh my gosh. That's unbelievable. It looks to be a game mostly of boss fights, which I suppose is understandable considering the insane animation. That just looks so neat! Would I be willing to let's play it? If it's not too hard on a computer, definitely. But I mean, 1936 is quite a long while. 2016 is still kind of a while. I don't know why is there so many... Wow, that's a gross thumbnail. I hate it sometimes how the thumbnails that show up on YouTube are like super gross. I'm like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. You please, completely swerve me away from Cuphead and how it looks amazing. How dare you? But yeah, it looks amazing. I hope y'all buy a copy right now, even though it doesn't exist yet. Swirly Bombs! Oh, I've been absent for a while and missed some of these videos, so apologies if these may have already been asked along the way. 1. Considering that we are deep in the midst of Megalex 2, it seems appropriate to ask, what is your personal favorite type of level to play? Romp and stomp levels, atmospheric, gimmicky levels, silly gags, ultra challenging levels that really push your skills to complete, and etc. Let's exclude the minimalistic aesthetics levels, because we all know you love those. There's a second one, but I guess I'm gonna answer the first one. I like gimmicky levels, and I like challenges. Ultimately, I'm going to repeat myself a little bit, but what I like is potential. That's why I like gimmicky stuff, because it's taking something and trying to go as deep as you can with the potential of a specific idea. Like, gimmicky has a sort of a negative connotation, but not the way I understand it. A gimmick is taking something unusual and going full out with it, and explore what you actually really can do with that. And that, to me, is amazing. I also love challenging stuff. Like Kaizo Hard's too hard for me, but hard enough to give me trouble, to make me focus, make me engage. I like that. I'm in love with that. Of course, there's an upper ceiling, and it's always going to be extremely hard to define. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, and yeah, if you can all do that with minimalistic aesthetic, well, I mean, that's just a bonus. But, I mean, we're talking about content here, we're not talking container. But, yeah. And 2, is there any particular reason you always tend to make ridiculously hard levels that you struggle to get through yourself, even though oftentimes you know you'll have to play it, suffer through it on camera later? I think the whole hoist by your own petard thing is funny, and I don't mind sacrificing a little bit of my well-being for that running joke. I think it's worth it, and that's what I like to do, you know? I push things, you know, how far can we go before it gets too dumb? A certain amount of dumb is great, and it's finding the balance. Last few things, you know, as we all know, I've been working more towards normal difficulty levels and even on the easier side. But now that I know that I can be successful at doing that, I'm starting to veer back towards Crazy Town. Because to me, that's just more exciting. Like, the more time, like, I guess it's a little, let's call it, little greedy, but technically, you know, the more time you spend trying to beat a level, the more it's gonna be remembered, the more it's gonna stay in your mind. And I like to leave an impact, sometimes at any cost. Oh man, that can be extrapolated. I do not like that part of my psyche, but here we are. And later that is, oh gosh, it's really hard to believe that another week has already passed. I wanted to quickly say a big thanks to you, Raocow, for the several weeks now of Patreon entertainment. Each weekend upload has become like watching Sunday morning cartoons again. It has been really lovely. So thank you a bunch. I was wondering if Demo or any of the other siblings have canon pages established. I also had well, not really. I mean, if you go on TV Trope, I'll lead you there. If you go on tvtropes.org, then you go on how, then you go on cow, then you go on characters. You've got Armless Bipedal Cycloptic Demon, ABCDs. There's different pages for everyone. It's about as complete as we got, but I mean it is still TV tropes, so take it with a grain of salt. But that's about what there is. There's also, I mean, I don't know. There's a plot thread in the A2XD part of the Talk House. Like, if you go in the Talk House and go in A2XD, there's cutscene story spoilers now a cow thread. I'm not allowed to go there, so I don't know what goes on there. I don't know. They might have if you want actual pages of information on the Cyclops, that would probably your best bet. Maybe in the wiki, but I wouldn't know that. It's like that would be your best bet, really. Like, this is a bit scattered. It's a very, because of my approach, my collective approach to the siblings, there is not really a concentrated canon repository of information by design, which I admit isn't always makes it the most obvious thing to look around for stuff. So sorry about that. Where am I? Okay. Oh, okay. I also had kind of a bizarre specific question that I hope you don't mind taking a quick look at. I was doing some fan art, but couldn't quite work out the exact face of a character from the original ASMT. They were the king-like wizard-robed enemies that took the place of the sumo bro. I was kind of curious how to illustrate what exactly their face looks like, and was wondering if you could just sort of briefly describe it. Is it like a decorative mask with a single eye in the center? They have an exposed face with some sort of fins on the edge of their head. And it has been a while since they appear in anything, so if you don't remember who I'm talking about, they appear here in the credits of ASMT. And there's a link. Thank you for taking the time to answer everyone's questions. Really does make the weekends rock that much more. Well, I'm glad you enjoy spending an hour a week to me saying absolutely nothing. Well, that's not nothing. Okay, let's see here. ASMT. Oh, okay. It's just a Kanchi. Basically, like, it's a hat. I mean, think of Shenko / Lele from Darkstalker. There's a purple face. There's like a hat / crown, you know, and it has a paper spell that's draped over and covers most of the face, with just the eyes kind of like part of the eyes peeking out from the side. That's all there is to it. It's a weird wizard zombie that you know shakes his robes and then lightning happens, as is wont to do. Gregory Coca-Cola is all about cow. Please go to random.org. Might even have it open already. No, I don't. Generate a random integer from 1 to 100. How do you feel about the number that you got? Does it have any personal significance to you? Man, I got like 1 out of hundreds. Chances are not on your side. 97. Nope, I do not have any opinion on a number. 97. It's 9, and it's followed by a 7. Wow. Miko Fires, what's your opinion of something awful /crack.com /xkcd /tumblr /hulu /netflix being asked for opinions /airline food, if any? Also, I request that you have a listen to this. Free to pause recording if you feel like it. Okay. Well, one thing at a time. Quick. Something awful. I've been a goon for several years now. And although I don't like what GBS has become, it's still kind of fun to lurk, and I like the general attitude of whatever, of everything. Hate everything equally. Crack.com, I've never really been there except for the occasional Shaman Baby article and have no opinion. XKCD, kind of full of itself. It's kind of interesting that, a comic can be so popular while having, basically very, very minimalistic art. But I find it kind of goes up its own rear end quite a lot too much. And, it has this tendency to just not have any humor at all sometimes, which I understand that a comic doesn't need to have a punchline every page. Sometimes I just don't really understand what it's trying to do. Tumblr doesn't quite deserve the reputation that it has, also because every large community is gonna veer off in weird directions, but as just a feed of weird and interesting images, I like it quite a bit for that service. Hulu doesn't play in Canada. Netflix pretty much ruined a lot of businesses, and that's kind of funny. I haven't really been that big of a user, nor because I'm not a movie watcher, but now it includes more TV. It's something to consider. It's a good service, but it's not something I need. Being asked for opinions, I'm still befuddled at the range of opinions that some people seem to be genuinely having, of me, which I find just funny. I'm just a regular dumb nerd. Like, my opinion is not worth any more or less than any of you. So sometimes being asked very specific things to me is kind of amusing and amazing. Airline food, I went on a plane exactly once in my life, and I don't remember any of it. It's pretty cool. Now I got a link here. Maybe it says feel free to free. It depends what it is. Like if it's a 3-hour movie, yeah, okay, I'll pause it. Voltaire. Oh, Mechanical Girl. I know that song. Just hope it doesn't trigger anything considering it's on. I remember the song because it was linked to me by a friend because it reminded him of Coral from ATXS, and I was like, haha, yeah, that's right. Because it's a robotic lady in medieval time, and then it's Voltaire. It is what it is. Small Bozal, what's your favorite season and why? How are things? My favorite season is spring because it comes after the hell that is winter, and it's super neat, and animals are back, except it doesn't have the blistering heat and humidity of summer. So it's all good in that direction. It's all like, heck yeah, summer! Things are green again. Things are going super great. Thank you very much for asking, Smolabo. It is very nice of you, and I appreciate it. This is it for this week, and Cow says words in the microphone. That is not any different to how things are normally, all the time. Hello. No owls, please, though. Union rules, sorry.